afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Horsepower Obsessed. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that we have discussed multiple times on this channel, but now, according to Motor Trend, it has actually been confirmed, and that is the C8 ZR1 pushing into the 1,000 horsepower range. Alright guys, so like I said, we have talked about this multiple times on this channel. There are plenty of videos that I've discussed this same kind of thing in, dating all the way back to around 8 months to a year ago. So this rumor has been swirling for quite some time, and apparently it's not actually a rumor. Apparently this is the truth. So the C8 ZR1 coming straight out of Motor Trend is reported to have 900 horsepower. Now, for me, right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, Motor Trend, here we go again. Some inflated numbers, some misguided information of some kind, but they go on to say that there's a source that they have inside of GM, which I can totally believe, that has confirmed 900 horsepower for the ZR1. Now, before we get too much into it, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the fact that this has been discussed now for almost a year. I will link those videos in the description below, as well as throughout this particular video, talking about the 1,000 horsepower engine and hybrid setup that the ZR1 or Zora model was supposed to get. A lot of these videos were made and discussed before the C8 was even confirmed as being a car that existed by GM. So basically I'm saying this information has been around for a while, and now it's been pretty much confirmed. So anyway, let's get into the details of what this 900 horsepower engine is going to feature. So right off the bat, this particular source inside of GM has confirmed two different things. Number one is that the Z06 C8 will actually definitely have a flat plane crank dual overhead cam V8 based on that C8R race car's engine. Now, again, this is something we've talked about before. There's been rumors discussed about this for a couple months now. I've actually made videos on that as well. And that would be, of course, the Z06 getting that C8R engine and hopefully some of the exterior aesthetics from the C8R as well. If that happens, the Z06 is going to be a beast on its own. But anyway, we've talked about that before. So let's get into the ZR1. Now, this source inside of GM, again, from Motor Trend, says that they're taking the Z06 flat plane crank dual overhead cam V8 and they're adding a hybrid motor to assist and boost it to 900 horsepower. Now, like I said, we've all heard these rumors before. The car was originally supposed to max out at around 1,000 horsepower. Now we're hearing 900, which of course is still no slouch, but there's a little bit of a gap between what we heard and what we're getting later as a quote-unquote confirmed leak. Now, Motor Trend goes on to say that this particular leak has stated that the ZR1 is going to have that hybrid motor setup not for any kind of fuel economy, but specifically for performance. Now, I personally like to hear that because most people don't care a whole lot about fuel economy as long as it's decent, but they do care about that performance. Now, in this case, because it's a motor that drives the front wheels, you're also looking at an all-wheel drive setup, the first ever in a Corvette. So we're going to have the big motor in the rear like we do with the C8 now, only it's going to be even bigger, and it's going to create even more horsepower, and we're also going to have a hybrid motor in the front to tie it all together to get that 900 horsepower and much better traction. I personally think it's pretty interesting that Motor Trend specifically says this hybrid motor is not for fuel economy. It is specifically for performance. Motor Trend goes on to say that their source inside of GM would not elaborate on the engineering details of the engine for the Z06 or the ZR1, and they wouldn't say specifically that it's going to share the same displacement as the C8R at the 5.5 liter. There were a lot of rumors circulating that it was going to be closer to the 4.2 liter area for the street car version of the C8R, but there's no guarantee on any of this yet. So originally, a lot of talk was out there about the C8 getting a Blackwing engine. But then Cadillac came out and said, nope, that's not happening. We're not sharing that engine with anything else inside of Chevrolet. But we've heard this kind of stuff before, and typically what they do is take the engine, change a couple things on it, and now presto, it's not a Blackwing anymore. So the idea of it getting an engine that was pretty similar to a Blackwing was likely, but now it could potentially go as high as 5.5 liter, and if that's the case, it's much different than a Blackwing engine. Motor Trend goes on to talk a little bit more about that performance hybrid motor that's going to drive the front wheels, and how the front frunk was specifically designed somewhat small so that space would remain open in all of the models for that motor to fit. This was actually something that was touched on early on whenever we first saw the cutaway model of the C8 Corvette, because there was a lot of room between the frunk tub and the front wheels. So a lot of people speculated that's why they did that, and now it's coming out that that is in fact exactly why they did it. So as you guys know, the hybrid or electric motor setup in a car, the battery packs and all the inverters and wiring, that everything that needs to go into creating a hybrid or electric setup is going to add weight, a substantial amount. So in this case, 900 horsepower might sound like a lot, but it's going to need some of that power just to gain back the difference it made with adding the additional weight. For any of you who don't know already, the C8 Corvette is already kind of on the heavy side, and adding this stuff to it's going to make it even heavier. So we may see our first Corvette be well over 4,000 pounds when this is said and done. That to me is not great. I'm hoping that they can shave this down as much as possible, but I like where they're heading with this. The flat plane crank, probably 700-ish horsepower engine with a 200 horsepower hybrid assisted motor. That's going to be one heck of a car, guys. Not that the C8 isn't already an amazing car, but add this stuff to it and you're easily pushing into supercar territory. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this ZR1 with the hybrid setup? This is something that's been a long time in the making. We've been talking about this on this channel for almost a year. Can you guys believe that this information's been out there for that long? And obviously not a very well kept secret because it was everywhere. Anyway, if you liked what you saw here, give me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions about this ZR1 or anything C8 or Corvette related, leave them in the comments section down below, or send me an email, horse.power.obsessed@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you guys haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. I'm going to have loads of C7 and C8 content coming that you're definitely not going to want to miss. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next upload.